The atrium is in the center of the compound. Nothing special or elaborate like the rest of the house. It's a simple space. I slide open the wooden door and step onto green carpet made to resemble the grass Kupiku had before it's frozen solid. The walls are murals of forest with streams and animals long gone. The ceiling is treated glass, letting in the blues, greens, and pinks of never-ending daylight. Warm air puffs through vents in the floor, but I'm glad for the Houston Texans sweatshirt I stole from Deb before we left Earth.
You look lost.
I jump at the sound of Kaya's voice. Holy shit. My powers are pretty much off right now. My shields are so thick. I could make them semi-permeable, if I want. I don't. But it kind of scares me that I didn't realize my barriers aren't letting anything in at all. I like to be able to at least sense people nearby. Kaya sits cross-legged on the grassy carpet in a corner of the room. A manila-colored canvas is propped on a small stand in front of her as she mixes paint. I find myself drifting toward her, gazing down at her canvas and falling into her wash of Kapiku sky.
This is what I take away from jobs.
Kaya says as she uses a slim brush to twirl silvery white paint.
New studies. Some I keep, some I donate to the Palace Walks, some I sell under a pseudonym.
I raise a brow.
You make much?
She smirks, still focused on blending the right color.
Enough to purchase my own cottage in the hills. Not that I get to stay there much.
I sit a few paces beside her, unzipping my bag and pulling out a medium-sized sketchbook and a number 3 pencil.
I've known Orion and Senchlin for a while. They're good people and will teach you what they know.
I nod, waiting for it.
They truly believe in this cause, this war. That's why they were chosen for you. Too bad you're like me.
How's that?
Lead meets paper, but instead of a soft line, I shade, turning the page gray.
It's a job neither of us applied for. We may be qualified, but we're a poor fit.
I blink, looking over at her. Her large almond-shaped eyes are on me, lashes thick and dark, cheekbones high and framed by tight black curls. This queen is beautiful and wears no makeup to enhance it. My hand moves on its own, fingers smudging the pencil marks, then using the lead to create an oval-shaped face.
At the end of the day, we just want it over so that we can be alone with this.
She gestures to her canvas, her dark, slender hands stained with silver and pink oil.
Do you care who wins?
The war? Good or evil?
One side of her mouth quirks.
Good or evil, Lyle? Really?
I chuckle. Can't help it.
Order a pandemic, then. Well, no one's told me what really happens. Either of them wins. Who's to say Pan is any worse than order? Or if things will really change? What's to stop there from being another war to challenge the outcome of this one? I mean, unless our choices end up blowing up everything that's not part of the Allegiance's cause, then I don't know.
Well, I can tell you that neither side will favor the enemy's champions, so if order loses, that's it for us. But I just wonder if that might not be for the best. Without Nova powerful people scaring ordinaries half to death, maybe others will be able to get along. Maybe the choice should be to let the champions, Pans and Orders, do away with each other, and the government leaders too, and let the world reshape itself.
I shake my head.
Why do we have to play a part in that? We could just say to hell with it and not fight.
Everybody would have to agree not to fight. We don't know Pan's champions. Didn't even know he had champions. Unlike us, they don't broadcast their identities. The enemies have been waiting centuries for us, knowing just about everything we'll bring, but them, nothing. That doesn't seem strange to you? How the councils didn't panic? How we're still out here trusting we won't be ambushed?
I laugh. It's not funny, but it is.
Of course it's strange, but nothing about this makes sense to me anymore, so...
You don't care.
Kaya sighs and dabs her paintbrush on the canvas.
Which is why you're a terrible leader.
I heard you say that.
I'm surprised. Thought you'd gone to sleep before I got to that part.
I smirk at her, a prickle of interest making me lean a bit closer to her.
Well, I will admit I didn't hear much before or after that. Will you tell me about yourself?
I love doing things like that. How'd you guess?
You're royalty, and a little bit of pompous bitch attitude is to be expected, right?
I switch from using the pencil to smudging again. For some reason, I'm comfortable here, talking to her. I don't need powers to tell me that everything she's about is staring right back at me. She blinks at me, then barks out a sharp laugh.
You really are something else. Do you know that? Okay, you're a terrible leader because you don't care about your people.
I don't have people.
She swats the air in front of my mouth with her paintbrush and glares.
Not caring about power, land, and politics is fine, but you have to care about the people on your team and the public who believes you're in this to save them. They can't fight, but you can. You have to care that winning means they're safe. If I defeat Pan's champions and that helps you make the right choices for order to win, and my friends and relatives and subjects and their children live to be happy, then I'm happy. But you can't say that. You say you don't, but you have to care about somebody, Lyle. Who would you rather not see hurt in all this?
I wipe at my mouth, making sure no paint got on it. Crap.
I love my family. If they don't get hurt, I'm fine.
That's a start. And once you get to know Orion, Sensuan, and Fallon, maybe you'll think you don't want them to be hurt either. And that's why you're doing this.
I sigh. Will I always end up wishing I was a better person for someone else? Kaya arches a thin brow and adds more color to her sky.
So, maybe people aren't enough for you.
I shade a little more.
I've known my fair share of sighs. Most aren't people persons, but they have goals. Do you have those at least? Because you need drive, Lyle. If helping your people doesn't drive you far enough, how about helping yourself then?
You're telling me to be selfish now. What about altruism and wanting to save family and innocence?
I almost want to get into her head, just to see what she's getting at.
I want to own art galleries and fill them with my work. I want to use my real name and travel around doing art exhibitions and have people call me Maestra instead of Your Highness. I want to live off my own earnings and invite family and friends to visit my cottage. I want to help my brothers embrace their other talents and live on their own too. The end of this war could mean that. If I don't die, maybe there won't be a need for warrior kings and queens, and I can retire or pass on my crown to a little cousin, or give it back to my mom.
Why did you take it from your mom in the first place?
I didn't take it. It's Zarin law. Once a monarch reaches a certain age, they aren't considered prime anymore, and their crown goes to the next worthy descendant. I was 16 and the best fighter in my class.
You're all trained to be warriors.
We learn to read, write, and fight. This
She gestures to her canvas.
is highly frowned upon, but we are allowed to have hobbies.
So,
So if there is an after, what does Lyle Ladouef want to do with himself?
My pencil stops as I look at her.
huh?
Future plans, life goals?
I'm 17.
Hell, I was gonna go to college. Because that's what people do. Major in architecture and minor in art, so mom and dad wouldn't complain too much. Live on campus, not join social organizations, graduate, get a job, and live alone. I shudder at the thought of getting married and having kids. Those probably aren't nice, shiny goals like Kaya's, but it'd been my plan. Nothing exciting, just something I could possibly do. Doubt I'd do any of that now. No college on earth would take me after helping burn down a university. And I don't think I qualify for any higher educational institutions outside of Earth. But do I really want higher education anyway? It's not exactly a society expectation anymore, not here. And a job? Would I ever need one of those? I don't know much about leadership groups, but I never heard Evan talk about paying bills and rent. If there is an after, as Kaya puts it, would I still be a leader? I bite the end of my pencil.
I don't know.
Thank you.